Hello, fellow teachers. It is March, and if you're in my world cultures class, you know that March is the perfect time for something I like to call a little Marchine Madness. So, what Marchine Madness is, it's a round robin debate that my colleagues and I have worked out. It's kind of modeled after the NCAA tournament, kind of pairing March Madness and Marchine Madness together. So what this is in our curriculum right now, we're studying the Industrial Revolution. And rather than just to lecture about the causes and effects of the Industrial Revolution, which undoubtedly are important, we want to help develop students with their public speaking skills and their ability to think critically. So my colleagues and I at Egg Harbor Township, we decided what better way than to come up with a full-scale, head-on, one-to-one debate among classmates. So each student is allowed to pick at random an invention from the 18th, 19th, or 20th century. Students are given a week to study up on the the invention, and then they critique and craft their invention in a organized fashion. Then a week later, they go head to head with their classmates and they debate. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. What I am grading them on, what my colleagues and I are grading the students are, public speaking ability, 0 to 10 points. Can the students put together and articulate their message clearly and concisely? Can we hear them from the back of the room? Are they speaking clear? Are they speaking loud? Are they making eye contact? Or are they just reading off of their notes? 0 to 10 points for factual information. Is the information the students providing accurate and correct? And can they back it up with reasonable information? Not just I found it on the internet and I'm using it, but can they cite an actual source for their information? And can they show how that source is demonstrated and relevant to their argument? Next, 0 to 10 points is, do they present a clear and logical argument? Do they just give us the basics, like who invented it, where they invented it, and what it's used for? Or can they really talk about how this invention shaped the modern world? So again, if you notice, these points are moving up in higher order of Bloom's taxonomy. Finally, the highest level thinking is, can they refute a classmate's argument? And that's really the crux of what we're trying to accomplish with our debate. Can the students, surely they can take the information, they can memorize it, they can put it on index cards, they can present their information. But can they articulate why their invention is better than their opponents? And that's really what we're looking for in this presentation. That's the skill we're trying to develop. And then the proper presentation length, 0 to 10 points. It must be 1 minute and 30 seconds. So the format that my colleagues and I use, we use a modified Lincoln Douglas style debate. We have two people arguing. Person one will present their main idea for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then person two will present their invention for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Person two then asks person one a question. Person one will then have 30 seconds to respond. And then person one follows up with a question to person two, and person two ends the debate with 30 seconds. A very easy and modified Lincoln Douglas style debate format to follow, not too hard at all. What we want to see is we want to see students get involved. We want to see students participate. We want to see them not just look at the basics of their invention, but really take it to a whole new level. And as you guys can see, our students get into it, they'll get dressed up, and they will defend and refute their arguments. Now, some of you guys are wondering, can you just give this assignment to your students? Well, if your students are having a hard time getting started, you can give them an outline. For example, this is something that my in-class support teacher and I crafted. A little bit of background on the invention, who invented it, when it was invented, and where it was invented. Next, you can give them a description of your invention. What is it? How does it work? And what's its purpose? Next, what are ways that your invention enhances people's lives? B, are there any ways that your invention was used and maybe it wasn't thought of? For example, people when they discovered penicillin, a very practical use, wasn't widely known at the time. And then C, why is your invention better than your opponent's? So this is kind of a structured outline that we give to some of the students if they need that extra guidance. Now, next question you're wondering is, how do we make this bracket? Well, there's a great website. I'm not affiliated with this website. It's called Challenge. And what you can do is it's called challenge.com, and it's challonge.com. You can create the name of the tournament, And when you scroll down, you'll save and continue. And then you can add players. Once you have your players added, your bracket will generate. And this is what a sample bracket looks like for one of my classes. So this bracket is currently in place. We have just finished round one. So as you guys can see, in round one, we had barbed wire go up against the compass. We had rubber go up against the camera. We had frozen food go up against the aerosol can. We had the radio go up against the sewing machine. We had the tractor go up against the telephone. We had the steamboat go up against the toilet, etc. Now, Challenge does a great job. Once you enter in the information, it does a random generalization of the bracket, or you can modify it. I tend to leave the bracket as it is. Choose not to play around with it, but most certainly if you wanted to do mixed ability or similar ability, you can pair your brackets like that. The students will then debate. When the students are done the debate, the two debaters leave the room, and then our jury deliberates, and then I have the students put their heads down so as not to influence each other's votes, and they vote with a show of hands. And you guys can see in the first round, pretty clear majorities, 18-3, 17-5, 14-1, pretty substantial blowouts. But as we advance through the later rounds, hopefully, ideally, we should start to see more competitive matches teamed up. So you can see this person with the compass, they advance to the second round, and if they beat out the television, they'll advance to the third round, and then so on and so forth. But this is a great opportunity to get the kids up and engaged and debating. Not only do I do it with machines, but also you can do it with geography. This is one of my geography classes. Students debated which is the best country in the world. You guys can see we had Russia versus Vietnam. The student with the better argument won and entered into farther rounds. You also can do it with presidents. And we've had other tournaments where we've had presidents and they've gone on to advance. This year, my geography class is doing national parks. We haven't started this tournament yet, but in honor of the national parks, we're going to let the students debate which is the best national park, and the students, their classmates, will vote on it, and we'll see who has the best arguments for the best park. So again, challenge. Marchine Madness, it's a great way to get the kids up and moving. You can do this with authors. You can do it with presidents. You can do it with different elements if you're in science. You can do it with different composers if you're in music. So it's a really great way to engage your classmates. All right, that having been said, I'm happy to bring you this video. If you have any questions or comments for me, please feel free to email me. My email address is martirom@eht.k12.nj.us, or you can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is mmtoy15. And my name is Michael Martyr, and I'm happy to bring this video to you.